What we have is a devastated industry, jobs lost, and global Britain shut for business. Those are the words of the former Prime Minister Theresa May in the House of Commons the other day. She also added that in this entire situation, we haven't gone forwards, we've gone backwards. Hi guys, I'm Matt. Welcome back to Bramski Vlogs. Been a couple of weeks since I've been away, but back with the video because I wanted to jump in today and talk about the current travel ban situation here within the United Kingdom. Just to recap, that the UK now, in some form or another, has had its international borders closed for more than 6 months. And after a winter where foreign tourism was non-existent, we are now in a situation where any form of foreign tourism, inbound or outbound for the UK, this summer is in total jeopardy. And it's really quite concerning what the future is going to be for this industry. So I'm going to try and give you my views on what I think about the current situation, how long it can continue for. So let's just keep recapping a little bit, because if you followed my videos throughout the winter, I will have mentioned that back in April there was a global travel task force, or a UK travel task force, that presented a report to the government. Now, at that time, in the lead up to it, everyone was hoping this was going to be a very sort of clearly set out plan in terms of how travel was going to work in and out of the UK, including the testing procedures, taking into account new variants and rises in cases in other countries, what were going to be the criteria to be able to go to all these countries. Instead, what we've had from sort of May onwards has been what is known as like a traffic light system, which has just been a total mismatch, with a lot of mixed messaging, a lot of uncertainty, and very little change to it. And if there has been any change, it's been last minute that has literally just actually ruined people's holiday plans, thrown more businesses into total chaos, cost people money and even more jobs. And I'm talking there about Portugal. If you've followed that development in the last week or so, you know that has not sat well here. Now, the here in the UK, it's so abundantly clear that what the government want is for people to basically have a holiday here in the UK this summer. And on the one hand, I wouldn't blame them, because the weather has actually been really nice the last couple of weeks. But, you know, in the grander scheme of things, actually, people really need to kind of get away now. People have had enough of this virus. And we have a phenomenal rollout of our vaccine now. I forget the exact stats, but I think it's something like at least half the population, have had at least one of their jabs. It could be a bit more than that, but that's a massive amount of progress, and it just feels right now that we're actually squandering that progress. And there are other countries, particularly in Europe, who haven't got even anywhere near as good a vaccine rollout, but yeah, they're looking now that Europe are going to plan a bit of a green card system to allow people to travel within their borders there, based on if they've had the vaccine or not. Instead, we are just reacting all the time to new variants, and there's sort of little hope at the moment. You can't plan anything even a week or 2 weeks in advance. It's very frustrating, not just for holidaymakers, but also for the people whose travel is their livelihood, whether that's people going on business travel, people who work within the airlines, who work in airports, the trains, obviously, holiday staff. It's a total mess, to be honest, guys. Every so often we get these reports when there's a little opening up or easing of a lockdown that says, oh, there's record bookings. This company reports record bookings. Don't look into that, because all that is basically just an effort to try and drive consumer confidence, which you can't exactly do at all at the moment. For over a year now, the international travel industry has suffered from reactionary measures from governments around the world, especially here in the UK, that do not deal with the bigger issue. There's no unified plan, no unified health measures that guarantee a safe functioning and for the travel sector at the moment. It's a mess with long delays at airports. There's several tests now that you have to take to go to various places, which costs even more to go on a holiday. So even in areas where you could be, to a certain degree, you're kind of priced out of it. The amber list, which is one of the three, we've got this traffic light system, as I mentioned. The amber list, on the one hand, people, when it was announced, thought it was okay to go to them, but then the government came back and said, actually, no, you're not meant to go to amber list countries, even though they said you're only meant to go for it on special occasions. But people misinterpret it as, well, actually, if you're happy to isolate and do this test, then it was okay for you to go. So again, miscommunication. Hospitality here in the UK is actually slowly restoring itself. The pubs have been allowed to have people back indoors now since May the 17th, which has meant a great more amount of footfall, but travel still can't open up. And yeah, as I say, summer holidays are really in doubt, and that therefore casts further doubt down the line. Now, I have made it very clear in posts on my Facebook page, but then also in previous videos, that I actually can't see the travel situation becoming more clear until autumn. Now, that creates a lot of problems moving ahead to the winter industry, in my opinion, because now this time in the summer is when a lot of ski companies would start to recruit, and I'm getting all kinds of comments now on different of the recent videos asking about, have you got any recommendations of where I should be looking to apply and so on. And the reality is there's little out there, but you've got to just to apply for whatever's out there now. But because companies don't know what's happening this summer, they can't really get a taste of what's going to happen next winter, if that makes sense. And so again, it's just more uncertainty. There's no ability to plan ahead for workers, for businesses, for holiday makers. The entire industry as a whole is paralyzed. And because of that, many people have actually left the industry. We are in a real risk of actually not being much of an industry left at all here within the UK for years to come. I know many of my friends who over the last few years have worked, as reps or as hosts or as drivers alongside me. All I can see is they're doing other things now. They're doing their own little things, or they're on, they've totally changed the industry. And me now, I'm on my third job during this pandemic. I've gone from being a delivery driver to working in the COVID test centres to now working in a bar cocktail job for this summer. And there are days where you just think it's never going to happen again, but like the ability to be able to get out there and work these jobs. And that's before I've even mentioned the difficulties around Brexit and being able to work in Europe from this winter onwards. But I mean, on that note, part of me thinks that with everything that's been going on, it might just not be possible for this next winter, and I'm casting my nets further afield, potentially as options for winter. But more on that later in another video. So I guess just to circle back a bit on this issue around, can the UK travel ban continue much longer? I think if June continues the way it is with the current bans and it goes into July, as we come to the back end of summer, I think that there is going to be a lot of pressure from the leaders within the industry. But then I actually would love if there was a bit of a ground movement within people within the industry to sort of really kind of lobby more towards the government to deal with this issue properly. Because there is a lot of lobbying going on other issues at the moment. But like if you take, for example, the protests that took place in the Alps, in the French Alps, in the run up to last winter that I covered here, all the escargot protests and the peaceful marches in Annecy, in Albertville, trying to really represent the industry. And I would love if that took place here in the UK, just because it's getting to a point now where, as I said, people are leaving the industry and no one has an idea when it's going to come back, when the ability to do any sort of travel is going to happen. Yeah, so that's just my take on it, guys. I would love to know your opinions, so please let me know in the comments section below. If you're someone who's worked in the travel industry for the last few years, how are you feeling right now? Have you left the industry? You know, are you contemplating what to do next? If you own a ski business anywhere else in the world, let me know your thoughts also below. Would love to hear from you. But thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and also leave a comment. Hope to sort of keep you up to date with the video every so often at the moment, but as you can see, obviously developments are quite slow at the moment. But stay safe, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.